Is it possible to get a good smartphone for under $100 in 2026? Yes, but there's a catch. At this price, you won't get a high-end camera, exceptional gaming performance, or a premium glass and metal design. But here's the interesting part. You can still get a phone with a large screen, good battery life, modern Android, expandable storage, and even 5G without spending $100. The problem is that there are a lot of cheap phones that simply aren't worth it. So I reviewed the options and selected 5 smartphones under $100 that do make sense in 2026. Links are given below by now. 5. Umidigi G9T. The best design for under $100. If you told me this phone costs more than $100, I probably wouldn't hesitate. The Umidigi G9T has a surprisingly elegant design, with attractive colors and a slim body that makes it look much more expensive than it actually is. It features a large 6.75-inch screen with a 90 Hz refresh rate, providing smoother navigation than expected at this price point. Inside, it incorporates a Unisoc T606 processor, along with 4 gigabytes of RAM, expandable via virtual memory. Storage is another of its strong points. It has 128 gigabytes of internal memory, expandable even further with a micro SD card. In addition, it includes a 5,000 mAh battery with 18-watt charging, so you don't have to worry about constantly finding a charger. 4. Xiaomi Redmi A5 4G. The Redmi A5 4G proves that an affordable phone doesn't have to be obsolete. This phone was released in 2025, making it a much newer device than some of the older sub-$100 options still available online. It runs Android 15 Go Edition and features a 120 Hz display. The resolution is only HD+, so don't expect the sharpness of a high-end AMOLED phone. But the 120 Hz refresh rate makes scrolling much smoother. Inside, it has a Unisoc T7250 processor, 3 gigabytes of RAM, and 64 gigabytes of storage. It also has a dedicated micro SD card slot, so you can expand the storage when you need more space. Its massive 5,200 mAh battery is another reason to consider it, and it even supports 15-watt charging. It also includes a headphone jack and FM radio, 2 features that are disappearing from more expensive phones. 3. NUU N10. The best unlocked budget option. This is where things get interesting. The NUU N10 isn't as well known as Samsung or Motorola, but for under $100, it offers a surprisingly complete package. It features a 6.6-inch HD plus display with a 90 Hz refresh rate, making everyday browsing much smoother than you might expect. It also runs Android 14 with Gemini support, and one thing I really like is the relatively clean software experience. There aren't a lot of unnecessary apps to slow down the phone. As for storage, it has 128 gigabytes, with the option to expand it via micro SD if needed. The camera setup includes a 13-megapixel main camera and a 2-megapixel macro camera, along with a 5-megapixel front-facing camera. Again, don't expect high-end photography. But for basic photos, social media, video calls, and everyday use, it does the job. And it has a 5,000 mAh battery that keeps everything running smoothly. 2. Samsung Galaxy A16 5G. The best budget Samsung. If you find the Samsung Galaxy A16 5G for under $100 with a prepaid plan, things get really interesting. Because you get something most budget phones can't match: Samsung software and 5G connectivity. The Galaxy A16 5G boasts a large 6.7-inch AMOLED display, which is a huge advantage at this price. Colors are more vibrant, blacks are deeper, and watching videos is much more enjoyable than on many basic LCD phones. It also includes a 50-megapixel main camera, 128 gigabytes of storage in some configurations, and a micro SD card slot for additional storage. And Samsung software support is another major plus. This isn't a phone you'll necessarily have to replace after a year or two. The most important thing to keep in mind is that the sub-$100 price tag is usually tied to prepaid or carrier deals, rather than being an unlocked price without restrictions. Currently, in the US, the A16 5G can be found for around $50 through prepaid channels. 1. Samsung Galaxy A17 5G, the best deal under $100. And finally, my number one pick is the Samsung Galaxy A17 5G. But there's one important detail. You have to find it on sale or prepaid for under $100. When that happens, it's hard to ignore. The A17 5G gives you a large screen, 5G connectivity, Samsung's familiar software experience, and a 50-megapixel main camera with optical image stabilization. This optical image stabilization is especially useful when taking photos with shaky hands or in low light. But what really makes the A17 interesting is its long-term software support. Samsung promises 6 years of updates, something you simply don't see on most phones at this price point. And that's important because buying a cheap phone isn't really a bargain if you have to replace it the following year. Currently in the United States, the Galaxy A17 5G is available for prepaid orders for around $79, although the exact price and carrier restrictions may vary.